When burnout hits me, I don't want to get out of bed, let alone create. The feeling of overwhelm weighs so heavy that the only thing I seem to have energy for is doom scrolling. And as you probably know, that only aggravates the issue. But somehow, no matter how many times I have been burned out, I somehow manage to pull myself out of it, finding my rhythm, getting back to a level of consistency, and reigniting my joy for creating again. And I'm incredibly moved that Pinterest, a piece of the puzzle that helps save me every time, wanted to partner to make this video. Because however way you slice it, burnout has become an accepted part of the creator journey. When a creator disappears from the online space, whether intentionally or not, burnout is almost always the reason to blame. My own biggest, longest, and most personally devastating bout of burnout happened at the worst possible time. Right after I had quit my day job to do this content creating thing full time. Right when I should have been feeling really free and ultra motivated, I felt untethered in the worst possible way, and as though I had run headfirst into a cement wall. I felt depleted, stuck, and completely unable to create, which was incredibly worrying because creating content was now supposed to keep a roof over our head. And at the time, I could not wrap my head around why this was happening. On paper, I was living the dream. I was supposed to love what I was doing, feel eager and energized to do it. This burnout thing was not supposed to be happening. And here's what I can tell you now that I'm on the other side, because as we know, hindsight is 20/20. And I'm hoping that in sharing this, you might be able to catch some of your own red flags to be able to stop burnout before it happens. So number one, in the lead up to quitting my day job, I was honestly running on fumes. I was working 7 to 3 for someone else, and then 4 to sometimes like 2 a.m. for myself. And I don't think I allowed my body to rest. And it just got to the point that my body made the decision for me. Second, quitting my day job left me with a lot of unassigned time, which allowed me to do a lot more social media scrolling under the very flimsy guise of doing research. And this is one that I think will apply to creators all across the board, not just those who are at or approaching a full-time level. Because inevitably, as I continued to scroll and scroll and scroll, instead of feeling inspired, I was feeling bowled over by a tidal wave of comparison. As I scrolled through Instagram and TikTok, I was making mental notes, both consciously and subconsciously, about all the millions of things that I should be doing better, could be doing better, and the sense that everybody else was killing it. Everyone online seemed to be more productive than I was. They were pumping out more content than I was, just better all around. And when you're already feeling just like a little bit of burnout, a little bit tired, like you can't be productive, that sense of comparison just like weighs on you more and more and more. And number 3, kind of tied into this, I also had a lot more time to look at numbers. Other people's, yes, but also my own. When doom scrolling wasn't taking over my life, I was getting sucked down the spiral of refreshing my analytics over and over and over again. And so I've come to realize that for me at least, burnout is almost always caused by a pressure to do more and be more. A lot of the time, I will admit that this is a pressure I put on myself, but it's aggravated by this sense of comparison I feel when looking at other people. And if we're being honest, it is also fed by the algorithms of these platforms themselves. Creating on social media feels exactly like you're on a hamster wheel. There's this feeling that you always have to be growing, you always have to be seeing those numbers go up, otherwise you're a failure, when that's not the actual case. So given all of that, how do I pull myself out of these slumps? You've probably already been able to guess the first one, and that is take a social media break. No TikTok, no Instagram. But the one platform that I do consciously keep and actually consciously try to redirect my scrolling habits to is Pinterest, which is why they make a perfect partner for a video on this topic. And I know I'm actually not alone in this. A lot of people will say that when they do a social media detox, Pinterest is the one app that gets to stay. And for me, there's actually 2 specific reasons why Pinterest helps me get to a better place. First, it is by nature an incredibly positive space. It's designed to inspire its users to take action by helping them see potential. I find this is a stark difference from social media, where they try to spur you into taking action by making you feel like you're not good enough or like you're doing everything wrong. Second, Pinterest is not a place where you are comparing successes, because metrics are not at the forefront. In fact, as you are scrolling through your feed or seeking out specific content, you have no idea how well somebody else's pin is performing. You just get to enjoy the content for what it is. And all of this isn't by accident. Pinterest is extremely intentional about cultivating a positive space and improving the well-being of its users. And then, once I feel a little bit lighter from this habit change and like I can actually do something, I start doing critical tasks. I got inspired to do this from Peter McKinnon, and it's basically this idea of starting your day with a list of critical tasks that you must complete before the day is over. When I'm really struggling with feeling productive, I will start with just a list of 4 things. And sometimes like 2 of those 4 things will be have a shower and, I don't know, eat lunch. But then once I'm feeling more myself and more productive, I will dial things up to 8 tasks. And these will usually all be more work related. When I'm burnt out and feel like there's a million things that I should be doing, this method helps me feel a little bit more control and a little bit more productive because I can look back on that list and say, okay, you actually did something with your day. I don't know what the psychology behind it is, but it works. Then the next level is to turn to slow creating. At this point, I'm usually feeling a little bit more inspired to create, but I'm going to do so selectively, focusing on content that is a bit more of a slow burn when it comes to results, rather than diving straight back into the chaos of a social media algorithm. So for me, this usually means turning back to blogging and Pinterest. Both are not instant gratification platforms where you post something and you can sit by your phone and watch the view counts go up or halt at like 200. So I find it's easier to create on them without performance in mind. Instead, I can just do the work of hopefully making good, helpful content, implementing SEO best practices, and then trusting the process that in a few months down the line, it will start to reach the people it needs to reach. As I do this, I allow myself to get into a little bit of a flow state and batch create and schedule out content. Personally, for Pinterest, I use Tailwind as a scheduler, which allows me to schedule things out months and months and months and months into the future. Maybe even years. I've yet to test that. So if I'm really vibing with making Pinterest pins, I'm in the zone, I will allow myself to get lost in the process of making them and just schedule them out so that they will drive traffic to my blog or generate saves or engagement on platform long into the future. And scheduling things out is really beneficial for combating burnout in general, because if you do get burned out again in the future, it's nice to know that there's something still being posted in the background, working for your business while you take the time to reset. And then after all of that, I'm usually feeling a lot more myself. And I'm ready to dive back into social media and, dare I say, start the whole cycle all over again. No, but really, I do know that burnout as a creator really does feel inevitable. But being intentional about where I spend my time online really does wonders to postpone it or pull me out of it and help me get back to normal. Major thank you to Pinterest for holding space for this conversation and for being so intentional about being a safe and positive space on the internet. I really hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you next time.